the time of the dispute over planet X23A, humans were relatively new to the galactic stage. This planet had been claimed by both humans and the Goth, an ancient and extremely militaristic species. The Goth were unique in that they operated as a hive mind with multiple queens who ruled through a sort of democratic system among themselves. Humans, on the other hand, were quite secretive. They were known to wear bulky suits and rarely removed them. Human space was heavily quarantined due to its deadly environment, though it was said that our species, the hawks, could survive there with gravity suits to compensate for the crushing gravity. Interestingly, humans shared a similar body shape to ours, being bipedal with a head on top, though they were much smaller. The Goth had invited us to mediate the talks about the fate of X23A, likely expecting our support due to our long-standing trade connections and their role in the alliance that freed our species from what we called the abductors. Since then, we had become the most powerful and technologically advanced species in the galaxy. As the talks were about to begin, a human ship requested to dock. One of our crew instructed them to dock in Shuttle Bay 9, noting that their ship was small enough to fit there. The Goth had already arrived and were impatiently waiting in the conference room. I took the turbo lift to join them. To accommodate the different atmospheres required by our species, the room was divided and flooded with separate gases. Upon entering, I greeted the Goth ambassador, who responded with a standard greeting. Many suns. He seemed to be staring off into the distance, likely communicating with the hive mind. Greetings, Your Majesty, I replied. The hive mind found this amusing, and the ambassador turned away. The humans then entered, each wearing armor with different symbols and colors. One of them spoke with a deep, amplified voice, introducing himself as the representative of the European Union and naming his colleagues from the British Solar Empire, the North American Union, and the Russian Space Federation. This indicated they might still operate as a nation-state species. As the talks began, the humans displayed a surprising level of political acumen, reminding me of our own species. Their faces, hidden by their helmets, made it difficult to read their expressions. But their knowledge of border disputes was impressive. At one point, I interrupted the representative from the British Solar Empire, who was eloquently discussing border laws. I'm sorry to interrupt, I said, not really meaning it, but you can remove your helmets. We have specially conditioned the atmosphere in your room to be similar to your own world. The humans exchanged glances. We would prefer to keep them on, the North American Union representative said. I insist, I replied. We took a long time to sort it out. The situation was becoming increasingly tense. In reality, only 10 minutes had passed, but we had been talking for 3 hours. Desperate for any small victory, I was stunned by what I saw. The representative from the British Solar Empire had removed her helmet, revealing her identity as a woman. However, this was not the source of my shock. She looked just like us. Her features were entirely human. A nose, eyes, ears, a mouth with pink lips, pale skin, and blonde hair. The Gothic delegate had noticed it too, and he growled in disbelief through his sharp, scaly snout. What trickery is this? These are your children, not the humans. Confused, the EU delegate responded, I'm sorry. What? I assure you this is no trick, crocodile. Angrily, the Gothic delegate and his assistant stood up and left the room. This was alarming because the woman was essentially one of their queens. The humans were visibly annoyed and preparing to leave as well. Wait, I said quickly. Would you mind waiting here for a while? 30 minutes, one of them replied, clearly displeased. I practically sprinted down the halls to the doctor's office. Yoko, I called out. He smiled and asked, what can I do? No time to explain. Follow me now, I panted. We both ran to another office labeled Xenobiology. June, I said, follow me now. The three of us ran back, with Yoko and June looking very confused. When we re-entered the conference room, we were met with the shocked and confused faces of the humans. The sight left June and the doctor stunned. The creatures before us looked just like us, but were the size of children. Galactic confusion, ensued. Two species living in space shouldn't look so similar, yet here we were, nearly identical except for size. The truth began to emerge when our historians examined the humans and recognized the logos that seemed all too familiar. It became clear that they were us, or rather, we were them. The abductors had taken us from Earth long before space travel had begun. The flags they carried were the old emblems of freedom from our prehistory textbooks. We had developed faster-than-light travel while they were still fighting their First World War. We had risen to power in the galaxy when they landed on the moon. Time and space had altered our size and skeletons, but we were fundamentally the same species. However, Homo sapiens had advanced at an incredibly rapid pace after we provided them with advanced FTL technology. This led to the formation of a human alliance that reshaped the galaxy. Oddly enough, the issue over planet X23A never got resolved.